So I'm Charles. I'm a happy founder of Hinounou, dedicated to make a better world, helping the seniors not only to live longer, but healthier, happier at home. So basically, about my personal story, I'm the third generation in my family working in healthcare. So my family, we work in healthcare for 100 years. Back then, it was in South Korea, and with my grandfather, who had one of the largest pharma there. And then he sent his daughter to do a PhD in Paris. And when she was there, she met my father, who was doing also a PhD. They got married. And finally, I ended up living in Paris. I was born in Neuilly-sur-Seine, close to Paris. And if I want to fast forward, I will tell a bit about my education. I've been educated as an IT engineer from the UTC, Université Technologique de Compiègne. And then later on, I did Executive Master of Science, specialized in change management at HEC Paris and Oxford University. And since then, after these dual opportunities and specialization, I had the joy to combine those IT innovation with the change management for more than 20 years, 3 continents. So basically started, of course, in France. But then also I used to live in Africa, from West to Central Africa for 2 years. I had my African dream. And after that, I had also my Chinese dream. So after I started my entrepreneur career in CNRS, in Gilles-sur-Yvette, south of Paris, I used to stay there 3 years. I jumped in my Chinese dream, which is living in China. It was basically '06. I was supposed to be there for 3 years and ended up living there around 16 years. Then COVID came, and after COVID, I decided to get a breath oxygen in my native city in Paris. That's why I came in 2023, and I'm basically from that in between now, living Paris, where I opened also a startup called Hinounou, the same that I was developing in Shanghai, but not correlated with China. And then I'm living in between France and China. That is my personal story.
Okay, wow, wonderful. So you will soon celebrate your 20 years in China, even though there is a little break.
Exactly.
But, so can you tell us more about Hinounou and your home wellness kit?
Yes, so Hinounou basically is the dream of helping seniors not only to live longer, but healthier and happier at home, was built, or I can say was born in a big pain. Because when I was living in Shanghai, my mother, who is a retired doctor, living alone because she's a widow, was there back then in Paris. And then around 13 years ago, I called my mom and I said, "Hey, mom, how are you doing?" She said, "Yes, I'm fine, don't worry, be happy." And unfortunately, a few days later, my brother called me and said, no, she's not fine. She fell down and went to hospital. So when she called you, you were in a hospital. She was in a hospital. So then I had a shock for 2 reasons. The first shock was I realized that our good parents are lying to us when we live far away from them, not to worry us. And I was thinking, wow, how is it possible then to have a better vision of their health? Because if they lie, then we obviously know their situation when it's already too late, like me. And then you have to rush, go there when it's already too late. So then the second shock was how is it possible to prevent rather than to cure? And these two shocks helped me to go beyond the unknown, because I was checking in the market if there were a relevant solution to be in prevention using data to be able to care of our parents before it's too late. And because there were not solutions, then we engaged in 12 years R&D before launching what you have said as a home wellness kit. So 12 years in US, Canada, France, and China, not consecutive, but four in parallel, 4 dedicated to IoT, medical, 4 to algorithm, AI, and 4 to AI robotics, where we get lucky, we get a invention patent in China. We were fighting against high-level competitors in terms of robotics, social, and medical. And we got this patent after 7 years. So one is invention, and the other one is design patent. So to make it simple, after those 12 years R&D, US, Canada, France, and China, we launched this home wellness kit. And what is a home wellness kit? Basically, it's helping seniors to live longer where they want to live until the end. Who want to live in EHPAD or nursing home and dying there? Nobody wants it. So the question is, if they want to live longer where they used to live, how is it possible to make their longevity, healthy aging in a safer environment rather than to be reactive, to be post-accident when it's too late, and then they have no choice then to move into the nursing home or EHPAD. So then the question is, if we think about prevention, there is no prevention without data. And the problem is then who get the data of the seniors living at home? For example, you, Laurent, do you have your data, vital sign, and even more of your elderly parents or your grandparents at home?
No, usually it's very personal anyway. The first thing is like it's personal, so as long as they want to share this data, but there are multiple things today, like smartwatches, smart rings that could be somehow connected to a platform. So there are other solutions with smartwatches as well, connected to professional network of like telecare services.
Mm-hmm.
So me, I went more on that road to design like products which are like dedicated to be linked to a professional platform rather than having this data, especially when you live far away from your parents, like it's a case for us. Is I think it's I could not do anything if I know like, oh, your mom just fell, like a fall detection, like you're in Shenzhen and fall detection, alert on my phone. That would be a big distress because I could not do much.
Yes.
But especially if it's at night with a different time zone. But that's why my vision is more like to give that to a professional service center rather than putting the stress on relatives.
Exactly. So you'd better give us your stress.
Yeah.
That's why we have this home wellness kit. And as we said before, there is no prevention without data. So with this home wellness kit, what we will collect at home is 5 dimensions of data that will help us to understand if they live in a good condition. And the second thing is when we collect those 5 dimensions, we will use different kind of AI algorithm to be able to do a risk analytics on especially chronic disease, such as diabetics, cardiovascular disease, and hypertension. So first we start with this DNA test, where we collect saliva testing like PCR. And then with this, we'll be able to collect and sequence a panel of genes only dedicated to chronic diseases. And once we collect this saliva, the seniors or whatever people will send this to a sequencing lab, our partners, which is the number one in China or other countries, always the number one. And then they will send their sequencing report directly in our app, which is Hinounou app. And then once we collect this reporting and the assessment of the risk of chronic diseases, what we need to know is how does it correlate with the current situation, the living situation. So then we have a number 2 box there, where you have a bundle of different medical connected devices. So you have a blood pressure, you have an oximeter, you have other gadgets such as here, this is a grip ball that measure the muscles loss, because after 40 years old, we lose 5% of our muscles every 10 years. So when you got 80 years old, you already lost around 20% of your muscular mass. That's why likely you have a high risk of falling down, and this is falls prevention. Then we have also here ECG. Then we have also glucose meter, where we can measure the blood sugar with a prick in your finger, one single prick. And we have also another sensor that we co-created with Saint-Gobain. It was not on the market, so it's a Saint-Gobain Hinounou logo. And this sensor helps us to understand what is your living condition at home. For example, your temperature, humidity, the noise, is it noisy? So you might have a sleeping disorder, and also lightning. So with all these gadgets, what we finally measure is biologic vital sign, which define as metabolic data. Then we have here life environment. We have also a mental health with some question in the app, and we have also fitness. So the numbers of steps that you're doing every day. So 5 dimensions of data, and then our AI algorithm will collect them and then use different formulas to be able to come back with risk analytics of diabetics, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases. And then the question, as you said before, Laurent, is what's happening if there is a problem at home? Then what we're doing is we have a very good partner in China called PingAn. And PingAn deliver directly in our app PingAn doctors, 24/7 telemedicine. And so the senior or the family, they can call 24/7, and they get immediate professional assistance. And the innovation also in China is knowing that seniors after 70 years old are not covered by private insurance, only because they think that it's too risky. So they will be resigned and drop off the current private insurances. So we decided to come back to PingAn and say, look, this is quite unfair. If we live in fantastic China today, it's because of them who sacrificed their life to make China great. And so we said, how is it possible to insure them despite the fact that they are older than 70 years old? And they said, okay, since Hinounou core DNA is predictive, preventive care rather than cure, we will be okay to combine accident and death insurance after 70 years old up to 100 years old without any difficulty to onboard them. Whoever you are, we can onboard you with this specific insurance from PingAn.
Oh, really good, incredible. So that's your partnership with the largest insurance company in China.
Exactly.
We have, especially in Shenzhen, like this giant PingAn tower.
Yeah, exactly. This is Shenzhen.
Yeah.
We came here, exactly.
And so we see clearly like your also cooperation with French tech somehow through Saint-Gobain.
Saint-Gobain, yeah.
So this is
very
a very
helpful.
interesting partnership. When did you do that, or is it already in the market, this little device?
Yeah, everything is scaled up already. 13 countries for around 1 million families all over the world. Thanks to the French tech, thanks to French government, we just around 1 year ago signed at the MEDEF in Paris a very good contract B2G with the Kazakhstan government. They're really happy to use this in all their cities, 5,000 cities, and 1 kit per city will be able to cover health checkup for the first batch of people of 200 people per city, times 5,000, just give us the number of 1 million only for one country. So this is a kind of game changer. And we were happy that because of this core innovation based on prevention, data, and AI, we won some of the best contests in the world. So the World Economic Forum, I don't know, Laurent, if you know this program called the Technology Pioneers. They select 100 technology pioneers in the world, different industries, especially focusing on the 17 Sustainable Development Goal, SDG. And within the scope of 100, around 10% are dedicated to e-health and AI. And we were very honored to be one of them in 2021. So 2021 up to 2023, we were invited twice in Davos, and they make us more visible. Up to 2022, 1 year later, the United Nations organized the World Hackathon to identify what is the best innovation in healthy aging. So 40 countries came with their champion in AI. So total of 115 AI solutions came up in 2022 for this hackathon. And there were 3 juries. The finalists we were 11. And they decided that Hinounou was the champion. They select only one champion every year. And since then, we enjoy very high level visibility, because as you know, you are the lead of French tech in Shenzhen and Hong Kong. You know that we might be innovative, technology-wise, service-wise, but it doesn't mean that we can succeed if we're not visible. How many very good innovations stand up in the CNRS hard disk or in somewhere in some cabinet, lost forever, if they're not visible? So our main concern as an entrepreneur, and maybe it's a good sharing for the community, I really like our community of the French tech. We are from the Hong Kong, from the Shanghai, sorry. It's a fantastic community, and if I may share with my peers some of the conclusion and lesson we had from international R&D for countries, international scale-up from France, CNRS, up to here, very demanding country where the competition is high. The first thing is we need a multi-skill set disciplinary team, alone, Charles Bike cannot do nothing. And if we are at this level, it's not just because of me. As you understand, in Chinese, we have a saying, say, 一个好汉三个帮, which means one hero is the product of three helpers. En français, on dit le succès ne vient jamais seul. Mais une fois qu'on a dit ça, once we have said that, we need to drag along this vision and this dream, a wonderful dream team. So the dream team, if the dream team is a incredible combination of different skill set, then you likely make it. Rather than being alone or only two person, this is really a wonderful dream team that we need to gather along this vision and this dream. The second thing is, if we can reduce as much as possible the burning cost, because as every innovative startup, we need to dedicate a vast amount of money and resources dedicated for the R&D. And then we don't have that much room to dedicate for other marketing, sales, or legal environment and stuff. So if we have the possibility and the luck to meet different skill set in one person. So for example, I had a chance to work with my CTO who has at least 4 skill sets in IT. Fantastic coder, he's a full stack coder, he's also a network engineer, he can also design, even though of course he's not a real good designer, but he can make it at the basic level, and also he can do some AI by himself. So I didn't have, because of him, I saved 4 in 1. Me, as I told you, I'm an IT engineer, architect in network and system, but I had also the chance to go to HEC Business School as well as Oxford to be able to get this multidisciplinary in something that I didn't know, which is marketing, sales, business plan, whatever. And of course, engage with a fantastic business school alumni, which helped me significantly to scale up with other B2B customers.
And you mentioned sorry to interrupt about the.
Welcome.
You said you mentioned B2G, which is not something that we often hear in the business environment, which is
yes.
Business to government.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, yes, there are a lot of opportunities worldwide, to work with government. The first thing we think is about defense. All these defense companies always like B2G, basically.
Yes.
It's interesting that you got this deal done in Kazakhstan.
Exactly, Kazakhstan, with the Vice Minister of Health.
And the other thing is about, you mentioned robotics, which is, we're really into it. You have multiple products already, a gadget, as you said, but really real medical products.
Mm-hmm.
And do you plan what's the next step for Hinounou in terms of, especially about this robotics project? Can you tell us more? What's next? What's the next milestone?
What's the next step? We really believe in the big trend of longevity, Laurent. People now are more aware that we not only need to live longer, but we need to have also a healthy lifestyle, and we call it healthy longevity. So what next is to be more focused on genomic related services. We have this kind of services, as I explained before. We have these simple services with this box started on a panel of genes, focusing mainly on the chronic diseases. But then if we need to live longer but healthier, we need to expand the span of screening into the whole genome sequencing. So we move from a panel to the whole genome sequencing, where we can identify not only a spectrum of chronic diseases, but we can also identify rare disease, cancers, and different other variations that we may have in our body. Especially, we call it epigenomics. What is the influence of the environment in our gene? That is very important to understand that. And so we are already moving in another batch of tests. We call it epigenomic testing, which is understand what is the variation that affect and impact our gene based on the environment. And so this is already one step that we're moving. In B2G, as you mentioned, we are negotiating on B2G with some country, on low and medium income countries. This is my focus, and I really believe that the future of AI is not on a rich country like France, but more in a low and medium income country where everything needs to be done. So when I had a chance to visit multiple times Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, because Turkmenistan, they heard what we have done in Kazakhstan, so we were invited by the vice president of the country on the G20 for health. I was representing, and it was a big honor to represent France on AI innovation. And now we're talking about how is it possible to help them to scale up a full genome national project in the country. So we are not just talking of just selling patch of home wellness kit, but the back door, I would say the labs will be exactly what we are negotiating today, which is a multi-million dollars project. And so this is the big step. We move forward on epigenomics, sequencing lab, directly with the sequencing machine. So it's not just a small medical certified devices like that, but it's a full labs. We call this project AI Fab Lab, which include and combine sequencing genomics capacity, data center, because when we do a full genome sequencing for one person, the minimum of data is 100 terabytes. So it's incredible amount of data. So we're talking of petabytes data center. So it's engaged with different kind of technologies. Next week, Tuesday, I have a meeting with the top level government in these Asian countries, with industry minister, healthcare minister combined together. And my dream, as we are French tech, is to bring the best of France. There is a fantastic Genopole in Evry, or fantastic scientist from France. So I'd be very happy to build a really good multidisciplinary task force that will come from France, but also in terms of equipment, we are lagging behind, unfortunately, in the technology in France. So I'm negotiating in terms of the sequencing capacity with the American one, because there are two leaders today. One is American, the other one is Chinese. So I try to figure out today what will be the best technology suppliers, either from US or from China, and combined with the scientific genomic skill sets of our French Cocorico scientists. I try to push the best of France. Unfortunately, France, as you know, Laurent, is unfortunately with the legal environment killing all kind of AI innovation or whatever innovation with this heavy millefeuille of regulation, codes, and whatever. So unfortunately, in terms of DNA, is not allowed in France. It's the only first country in all Europe still forbidden the DNA testing for public. And we are lacking far behind the other European countries today, especially the UK, where they have national biobanks, which is one of the top leaders in the world. But France, for whatever reason, they forbid it. So French who want to know their gene in heritage, like the first simple one is ancestry, very easy to do that, or the medical side, which is in heritage of potential risk in cardiovascular cancer, whatever, they're doing it outside France. And they order their kid outside France, and they're doing outside our country. So I have a big challenge as an entrepreneur in, we call it multi-omic data, genomic, metabolic, and even metabolomic data. I have a challenge to find the best scientists in France, but because we have the good scientists, that is not a problem to find them in France. But because of this heavy regulation, we don't have the core technology and resources that was not developed in France yet. That's why I need to do my shopping in other countries like US or China. And my difficulties as a team is to try to figure out how we can do a shopping with multiple shops, multiple vendors, multiple skill set, which is scientists, technology, and consulting, to be able to deliver a one-shop full total solution to those countries on B2G. This is the biggest issue today. It's like trying to play Lego. Central Asia is booming. I saw Central Asia like 20 years ago when I was in China. Everything needs to be done. The fantastic thing is there will be a leap forward innovation. Like you remember 20 years ago, Laurent, China was buying the best of technology from the West, and then they improve it. And today, obviously, China become one of the best innovators in the world in terms of patent pendings, numbers of scientific articles published, and everything. So obviously, nobody thinks China as still a copier, right? They're moving into innovation. Look at the electric vehicles and others.
I have some Chinese entrepreneurs like traveling to also Southeast Asia, Central Asia will always tell me that it's like coming back from China from the future and seeing like, okay, everything is possible there. We can replicate everything we have done in China over the last 10 years, and it's really an open market. So yeah, I understand the feeling.
It's incredible to be there. When I came 20 years ago in China, I was junior, so it cannot be too much impactful. But now, this 20 years later, it's a fantastic timing, because from the maturity that we had from China, which is very demanding, as you already know, it gave us some muscles to be able to go beyond those borders where everything needs to be done. But we need to be very flexible, because those countries are like a I would say, autocratic country, very autocratic. And being in China helped me a lot to overcome such difficulties in these countries, where the code of conduct in business, in innovation, in go-to-market are different from, obviously, France, but obviously also from China. But this gymnastic that we acquire in launching innovation technology in very competitive markets such as China give any entrepreneurs French or whoever entrepreneurs in China, a solid experience and the mindset flexibility to be able to overcome what is going on this very high risk, high speed development countries.
Yeah, very competitive as well.
Very competitive. Yeah, I had the pleasure to meet entrepreneurs there, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, also Turkey, and I'm amazed of them. I never saw one entrepreneur or a single product entrepreneur. Never. They are all number one serial entrepreneur, multiple industries, agriculture, from agriculture to high tech to construction. At least three of this industry: construction, agriculture, and high tech. And I'm very surprised of the capacity to go beyond the unknown. They have, en français on dit l'agnac, that I don't perceive that much anymore in France. And so this is kind of very, I'm very happy to be at this momentum with our team, to be able to see what we can do together to make a better world.
I see. Cool. How can we contact you? What is the best way to reach you? I don't know, any specific account, maybe LinkedIn that you could share?
Yeah, LinkedIn, very simple. LinkedIn, you just go to Charles Bark, Charles Bark, B-A-R-K, B-A-R-K, and then you find me, and I'd be happy to share or answer your question if you have any, and make a better world with you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Charles. It was a pleasure having you.